guys, my name is Sharon and today I have a book haul. It's not a particularly big one, so this will also be a physical TBR with a bunch of books that I've been meaning to read on my bookshelf, which I haven't got around to yet. And I'm looking at myself on the screen. My top is only showing job. Anyone who wants to know, it actually says I love my job, which is from The Devil Wears Prada, in case anyone was wondering why I'm wearing a shirt that just says job. Just a really quick update. It's been a while since I posted my last video. I had the flu in my last video, so I'm surprised I even managed to film that. But then I was feeling even worse. I had the flu for 2 weeks, and then I've been pretty busy because I started an online counselling course, and so that's been taking up a lot of time. And then the course website was a little bit glitchy and it had me thinking that I had 4 deadlines in August when actually I only had 1. So I started panic studying and I gave myself a repetitive strain injury in my right hand, which is my dominant hand. So I just haven't really had time to film YouTube videos. So for my book haul, I have 8 new books. 3 of them are part of a series and I got them on Vinted. So it's Olympus by Raychel Smythe, and it's a graphic novel. This is volume 1. I think this won the Goodreads Choice Awards in 2021 for Best Graphic Novel. This is so heavy, like you could definitely use this as a weapon and knock someone out with this. The paper isn't like normal paper from a normal hardback book. It's kind of thick, glossy-ish paper, and so I think that's what's making it so heavy. But this is basically a Greek mythology retelling of Hades and Persephone. And to be honest, I don't know Hades and Persephone's story, so I don't know how close this is to the original. But I do know in this, Persephone moves to the city of Olympus. She was raised in the mortal realm by her mother, and she promises to train as a sacred virgin. So she moves to the city of Olympus where the gods live, and she has a roommate called Artemis who takes her to this party. And at this party, this is where Persephone meets Hades, who is charming and misunderstood. He's the ruler of the underworld, and I don't know how many volumes actually there are in this series. I only got the first 3 volumes because it was kind of sold as a set. I actually haven't started it yet because I haven't had time, but you know, I do like the images. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I am visually impaired, so I do struggle with looking at photos and images and kind of like figuring out what an image is. But the contrast isn't too bad with the illustrations, so I might do okay. But if it takes me too long to read or I'm struggling, my partner said he would read this with me, so there's that as a solution. And the volume 1 is just like the regular hardback edition, but for the other 2 volumes. Volume 2 is, I believe, the Waterstones edition, and then this is volume 3, which is also the Waterstones edition. I want to say there are at least 10 volumes in this, and I don't know if the entire thing is Hades and Persephone's story, but I know at least the first 3 volumes are, and I think we're just following Hades and Persephone, their relationship and also their struggles, and how Persephone has to navigate life and politics in Olympus. And the next 5 books are all Kristin Hannah books because they came as a set and it was a really good price on Books to Door. I've actually read 4 out of the 5, so I just wanted trophy copies because Kristin Hannah is one of my favourite authors. The set included Winter Garden, and I will actually say this isn't my favourite Kristin Hannah book. It's not a bad Kristin Hannah book because I don't think they have any bad books. But in this one you have 2 estranged sisters whose mother has been really cold with them their whole lives. And their mother actually has a really traumatic past from when she was living in war-torn Leningrad in Russia. It's not my favourite Kristin Hannah because I felt a little triggered reading this. Just the way that the mother was so cold and detached. Not that my own mother is like this, I have a good relationship with my mother, but growing up I did watch someone else I love who had a very cold and emotionally detached mother, and it's just really sad to witness because this does really affect the children and even into their adulthood. And to me, the way this book concluded just kind of simplified generational trauma, and I just feel like generational trauma is so much more complicated to break out of and heal from. And just personally for me, I don't think like even if a mother has trauma, it justifies the way she treats her children, but that's just me. Then we have The Four Winds. This is one of my favourites, although I feel like I often say this like every time I read a new Kristin Hannah book, but this was my favourite for a really long time until I read Another Life last year. This one is set during the Great Depression / Dust Bowl in America in was it the 20s or 30s? This is about a mother who is fighting for survival for her family. This is a story about the love and strength of a mother and what a mother will do for her children. And this book emotionally wrecked me. Then I got The Nightingale, perhaps Kristin Hannah's most popular book. Do I even need to give a synopsis? This follows two French sisters during Germany's occupation of France during World War II. The sisters are really courageous, and I remember this being an emotional read. But I think I read this in 2020, and for some reason I completely can't remember the ending. This is being made into a movie. They might have even wrapped filming, I'm not too sure, but Dakota Fanning and Elle Fanning are playing the sisters, and I can't wait to watch it. But I'm definitely going to reread this book before I watch the movie because I can't remember a lot of what happened in this now. But I did rate this a 5-star when I read it. The Great Alone, also another 5-star and another book that emotionally wrecked me. In this one you have a family of 3 who move to the Alaskan wilderness. I think this is set during the 70s or something, and the dad is a Vietnam War veteran who is suffering from PTSD, so he has very volatile behaviour and everyone needs to tread on eggshells around him. The wife just goes along with whatever he wants really, and then they have a 13-year-old daughter, and this is also like her coming of age story. I did really like this, but it also did make me really sad and angry. This is a story about abuse and trauma, but it's also a story of survival and resilience and community. And also I feel like there were quite a few moments in this book that made me want to throw my head against the wall. And then last book of the Kristin Hannah set and haul is Homefront. This is actually one book I haven't read yet, and I also feel like I haven't seen that many people talk about this Kristin Hannah book. All I know about this is that it follows a married couple and something tragic happens. And I'm sure like all Kristin Hannah books, this will be really emotional. And now onto my physical TBR. These are some books that I bought a very long time ago. They've been sitting on my bookshelf collecting dust, and I'm not proud of this. I definitely need to get to them. In fact, these aren't even all my physical books that I haven't read yet. These are just the ones on the forefront of my mind that I definitely want to get to at some point in the future. And they are of all different genres. Lovely War by Julie Berry. This is a historical fiction with an element of fantasy / mythology. This is about 4 different characters and their love stories during World War I, but it's told through the eyes of the Greek gods and goddesses. This one's pretty chunky, and I think it might be the American paperback because it's so like floppy. British books are like so much more stiff, but I love the cover of this. I actually started the audio for this back in 2020 and I soft DNF'd it. I mean, it's been 6 years and I still haven't gotten around to it, but I will. The audiobook has a full cast narration, but basically I DNF'd this because one of the narrators sounded like Boris Johnson. I'm sorry to the narrator because I don't think that's a compliment. He just really sounded like Boris Johnson, and it was also during the pandemic. And I mean, I'm not a fan of any of our prime ministers, but you know, especially not Boris Johnson during the pandemic times. But now that it's been, you know, a good 6 years, maybe hearing a voice similar will be less jarring for me, but I do really want to get round to this. Elektra by Jennifer Saint, who is the author of Ariadne, and I have that book as well. I did really like that one, and I actually think this story isn't just about Elektra, but it's also about Clytemnestra, who is her mother, and Cassandra, who is a Trojan princess. I also read Clytemnestra by a different author a few years ago, and I don't remember all the details of it, but I do remember that Clytemnestra's husband is Agamemnon, who was a key player in the Trojan War, so Elektra is their daughter. Again, I bought this a few years ago and I've been meaning to read it, but I have to be in the mood for Greek mythology retellings because I mean, they're all pretty much tragedies and low-key depressing, so I just have to be in the mood for them. Then I have The Heart of the Sun Warrior by Lynn, and this is the sequel to The Daughter of the Moon Goddess. This is actually the TikTok edition and it has really pretty sprayed edges. So this is a fantasy that is inspired by Chinese mythology, and this series is a duology. It basically follows on from the events after The Daughter of the Moon Goddess. You are still following the main character in the first book, but I think this time there's a new villain slash threat to the Celestial Kingdom. I think I'll probably read this when autumn comes around. I don't know why, but I always feel more inclined to read fantasy in the autumn and not in the spring or summer. Then I have Luck of the Titanic by Stacey Lee. This is a historical fiction. It follows a teenage British Chinese girl, and she's an acrobat who's trying to get onto the Titanic because she wants to move from England to New York. Her twin brother, who she hasn't seen in a couple of years, has been working at sea and he's also on board the Titanic. However, when she tries to get on, she gets turned away because apparently Chinese people are not allowed into America. This was during a period where there was something called the Chinese Exclusion Act in the US. But the main character is very determined, so she somehow finds a way to sneak onto the Titanic as a stowaway. Then we all know what happens next to the Titanic. I think the main character is completely fictional, but in real life there actually were Chinese passengers on board the Titanic, so I think some of the characters are loosely inspired by the Chinese people who were on board back then. I've been meaning to read this for so many years now. I actually don't think there is an audiobook, annoyingly, so that's why I haven't got around to this one yet. Then I have The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. As a thriller girly for the past couple of years, is it criminal that I haven't read this yet? I feel like this is a modern day thriller classic. It's translated Swedish crime fiction, and all I know about this is that there are two characters, a journalist and a hacker, who join forces to solve a missing persons case. I don't even know which character is the one with the dragon tattoo, but I guess I'll find out when I read it. Then I have The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. Again, another book I've been meaning to read for such a long time now. I'm actually currently reading 1,000 Splendid Suns, which is by the same author, and both stories are set in Afghanistan. I do know this book is about a friendship between two young boys. One is the son of someone wealthy and the other is the son of a servant, but despite their differences, these two boys become good friends. I have no idea what else happens, but if it's anything like 1,000 Splendid Suns, then I'm sure it's going to be really emotional and heartbreaking. And then last but not least, Burn for Burn by Jenny Han. This is a young adult book. From time to time I do read young adult, but not that often anymore. I actually bought this whole series like a few years ago. There's 3 in the series. And this story is about 3 teenage girls who team up to plot revenge against the people who've wronged them. This vibe sounds completely different from the Summer I Turned Pretty series and the To All the Boys I've Loved Before series, which Jenny Han also wrote, so I am looking forward to this one. So those were all my books from my book haul and physical TBR. I don't actually do book hauls often. I mainly post reading wrap-up videos and book recommendations. I read a lot of thrillers, but I also read a lot of other genres as well. So if that sounds like your thing, please like or subscribe. It would really help the channel out. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll go back to posting weekly videos, but if I don't, it's because I'm busy doing my counselling course, and I'll see you in my next video.